Hello, everybody, and welcome to Uproot Reddit. Dear grocery shoppers, when going to the supermarket, do you ever find yourself helping other grocery shoppers? Sometimes helping other fellow grocery shoppers isn't a bad thing. Maybe you can reach an item from the very top shelf for someone who can't. Maybe you can guide them down the right aisle if they're lost. Although you don't work at the supermarket, the least you do is help those who need help whenever the supermarket staff members are busy helping others. Emphasis on the fact that you don't work there. Now imagine you are minding your own business and buying what you need, and another fellow grocery shopper comes up to you and demands that you help them too. And they lash out at you in the worst possible way. What would you do in that situation? Well, Reddit user Praveen Shakar 007 had such an encounter at the supermarket after helping someone else. In today's post, Karen slapped and pushed me because I was ignoring her and not helping. Seems very extreme to react that way when someone ignores you. But hey, we're dealing with an entitled, angry customer in this story. I am an 18-year-old male, born completely deaf and mute. Also, I am partially blind in my left eye. Let's keep that in mind. I live with my sister, who's a 28-year-old female who had been taking care of me since our parents died. Recently, she got married and went on her honeymoon, so I'm on my own for a few weeks. This happened yesterday. Usually, whenever I go out, I am accompanied by my sister due to my disability. But now, since she is on her honeymoon, I had to go out alone. There was a new supermarket opened in our area, and I needed some items, so I decided to go there and grab them. My bad for wearing a red-colored shirt almost similar to the employees working there. But if you look closely, you could see that it was not the uniform. I was at the electronics section looking for some batteries when I see an old man struggling to get some DVDs at the top shelf. Since I'm tall, I helped him. He thanked me, I can do lip reading, and went on his way. Then I began looking for the batteries. That's when I felt someone grab my left wrist. I turned around and a woman in her late 40s slapped me. She was speaking something, but I couldn't follow her lips as she spoke way too fast. However, I was able to catch some words like you, ignore, job, etc. So I signed to her that I am deaf. Apparently, this was a wrong move because she became more irritated towards the signs. Again, she was yelling something, but I couldn't catch anything. So I took my notebook and started writing that I am deaf and mute. Before I could finish, she grabbed my notebook and pen and threw them away. Then she slapped me again and pushed me to the ground. Luckily, by this time, a store employee came to see what the commotion was about. He saw me on the ground and helped me up. Then he asked me, what happened? Before I can sign to him, of course, Karen starts to yell at the employee, like they always do. They always interrupt the people who are actually the victims. And in this case, she is not the victim. I don't know what she said as she was not facing me. After she finished, I signed to the employee that I cannot hear or speak. Fortunately, he understood and explained this to the lady, but she is still not convinced. Of course she's not convinced because things are not going her way. She tries to assault me again and in front of the employee, but I moved away. Then I wrote and showed the employee to call the cops on her. The employee nodded and called the cops. Karen tried to run away, but the security caught her. Yeah, good luck for trying to get out of that one. The police arrived in about 10 minutes. They first talked to the employee who explained the situation about how Karen assaulted me because she mistook me for a store employee. One police officer comes and speaks to me. I understood that he wanted my version of events, so I wrote everything down and showed it to the officer. Then they went to check the CCTV footage, and she thought she was gonna get off the hook. Then came back and asked me if I wanted to press charges. I gladly said yes. Karen was then placed in handcuffs and given a free ride at the back of a police cruiser. The manager then explained to me that the Karen thought I worked there and she became angry that I ignored her. Even though you wore a red shirt and didn't have the supermarket logo on your shirt, nor did you have a name tag. So she probably should have seen that but was too selfish. She had been standing on my left side, so obviously I couldn't see her. The store manager then offered me a 50% discount on the products. I texted my sister about the events that happened, and she was livid. Oh, did I mention that my sister is a lawyer? Oh, now someone's really in trouble. She told me that she herself will be handling the case and would see to that Karen would get maximum time. Court date is in around 40 days. I'll update about it after court. See, when you have a sibling who is a lawyer, you got an ace up your sleeve. And here is an edit from Praveen Shankar 007. Quote, I noticed many were asking about masks. She was indeed wearing one, but during that encounter, she had it on under her chin and not covering the nose or mouth. Ugh, really? Also, lawyers in India can represent their family in court as long as they are not directly involved in it and the judge is not a relative to the lawyer. Yeah, good thing that she's in cuffs. That kind of assault on a disabled person is beyond unacceptable and really way out of line. Honestly, these kinds of entitled customers can irk anybody. She even seemed so caught up in her own selfishness to not give Praveen Shankar 007 a chance to explain that they are disabled and cannot even talk or hear. And furthermore, if she acted like that to another customer, who knows what she would have done to an actual employee or staff member. I guess she can now tell her tale to the inmates of how she ended up behind bars. Who knows how they'll react? Or look at her with a sideways expression like, is this woman out of her mind? If supermarkets aren't the place to run into an entitled person, then there are restaurants, gas stations, pretty much any place that deals with shopping and products. Or in the neighborhood if the entitled person lives next door, which absolutely no one wants. But what about places that could potentially be safe havens, which an entitled person could be really out of sight, out of mind? Reddit user Vet Builder has named a few potential places where people can escape the entitled army. In today's post, Karen-free zone. I work in a strip mall between a Curves and a post office. Naturally, Karens try to yank our door open to either work out or complain at federal employees. Therefore, I propose a list of Karen-free zones. Church, yeah, they are evil. Libraries, they're stupid as heck. Chess matches, they'd probably complain that the chess pieces don't move on their own. Metal concerts, because no one can hear them. Drag races, because again, nobody can hear them over the screams and the roars of the engines in the car. Planned Parenthood, shooting range, just to name a few. What do you all have to add? I don't know, that's a pretty comprehensive list. And those places sound about right. And if there is an entitled person trying to enter into any of those places, they wouldn't stay for very long, because they'd probably storm out because nobody wants to pay attention to them, or they'll have security escort them off the premises quicker than the blink of an eye. But hey, the next time you need an escape from a bickering, screeching, entitled person, run to those safe havens and bring your valuables to shelter yourself until they hop over to another town and never come back. But that's all the time we have for today. We'll be back for more crazy entitled people encounters right here on Uproot Reddit. We'll see you all next time.